So that's the collection. This is the collection that we received from the US West Coast suddenly, about 3 years ago. There was a Jewish person that was here and felt that his recordings from Yom Kippur in Israel should come back to Israel. 400 photos that stopped time from going on in the middle of Yom Kippur War arrived to the National Library in Jerusalem. Decades, photos were inside boxes and waited to come out. Those moments that were recorded of soldiers, simple soldiers in the war, are basically greetings from decades ago, from 1973, the days of Yom Kippur War. A person that was accidentally between combat units. He had a camera and he just took pictures of them. Here you can see soldiers during combat. You can recognize their equipment from Yom Kippur War. Here you can see a soldier that is in the middle of clearing an urban area. And here they're already inside a building covering from the windows. It was important for him to record the soldiers as they are. Those are natural face expressions of someone in the middle of a very, very emotional event that creates strong feelings of fear, but also of success, of wealth and victory. He recorded the simple people, not the generals. That's the collection. The library understood what are precious things they have and published it to the public, so soldiers can recognize themselves in the pictures. Those soldiers also like to look at the camera. If they're asked to, they smile. Who are you here? This is me. You don't recognize me? Tell me, are we allowed to hug? You stay the same, just without the mustache. Right. Moshe Graf and Yaakov Kaufman were the soldiers that recognized themselves in the pictures. Decades passed by, but in one moment, the feelings are coming back to them, and the memories are going up. This is me and that's him. What's his name? Do you remember? Yair or Uri? I don't remember. He was in charge of communication. This is Mati Avivi. Rest in peace. A lot of water went under the bridge and also in the creek. This moment they remember really well. Arik Sharon already passed the creek and they're next, optimistic, waiting for their turn. You're smiling here, but that was at the end. This was after the IDF was already on the other side of the creek. The 1st Division was already behind the creek and we came after them. We backed them up from the other side. They both were young people and served in the artillery. They were drafted in Yom Kippur and got there within 24 hours. The closest they got to Sinai, they understood the situation better. You know what's going on around you, what you hear on the radio, but you don't know what's happening everywhere. We get closer there and we can't see it. And we hear someone looking for help, but you can't do anything. We didn't suffer from face-to-face combat. Nobody shoot us. We didn't see the Egypt in our eyes. The artillery was already on the back, covering. The artillery unit got encountered in the Chinese farm at night. We backed them up. Now, every time I talk to the commander, I hear another voice. I ask, what happened to the other one? And he's gone. One by one, they got hit, died, injured, I don't know. Were you scared? What do you mean, scared? Of course there's fear. But you don't think. When you're sitting there for 24 hours and your brain constantly working, radios, shoot here, shoot there, you need to sit and calculate specifically. You don't have time to be afraid. The photos in the albums complete the moment. The moments before and after. Today, after years, we realize that the photos captured innocence in a way that are about to be forgotten. in the war's bad reputation. You see that here we're pretty much smiling because nobody shoot us at that night and we didn't shoot anyone else. We were a part of an event that we didn't realize what its significance is. They don't remember the photographer that took the picture and still don't know who he is. Someone like that comes and feels danger with his own hands. He captured things that some other photographer might not be able to, either because they seem too normal to the moment, or because the IDF did not allow to take pictures of soldiers that look in a bad condition. This is what's special about this collection. It's a random point of view into war. This is Nathan Fendrich's point of view. Today, 86 lives in the United States. At October 1973, he got to Israel following a personal crisis. He wanted to get some air and join an archaeology group. He carried a certificate from a local newspaper in Oregon, US. 2 weeks after he landed here, the war started.
I am not a trained photographer. I was able to get in because of a camera. I was out on the hotel's porch, deathly quiet.
The IDF spokesperson said that around 2 p.m., the Egyptians started fire.
Planes started taking off. And I thought, how strange. You know, 1, 2, maybe, but not one right after the other. Dozens. And all of a sudden, it breaks loose. Cars pouring in from everywhere. Guys getting out of the cars, changing clothes into uniforms. I knew something was going on. I grabbed my jacket, and I rushed over to the building, went over. I said, what's happening? What's going on? And they said, we're at war. We've been attacked on 2 fronts.
He remembered the war in incredible clarity. For years, the photos were inside of boxes, but the memories stayed with him, and so did the experience of war.
I'm not a photographer. I shot anything and everything that I thought would be of interest. Many moments I remember. There was so much going on. My adrenaline was way at a peak. There were 2 half-tracks, military half-tracks, about 15 guys. They knew who we were, and these were Israeli soldiers. And I said, where are you guys going? We're going to the front. I said, take me with you.
A curious person that you can see that feels closeness. He took pictures of them and they became his friends. This is a picture that I think is really nice, of an officer that lights a cigarette for a captured person. It captures really well IDF spirit. Soldiers in the front needed a sukkah. They built a sukkah on the command car. I don't remember this picture being taken, but I saw it in the newspaper. The smile is the same. Yeah. 21 and a half years old here. Armand Kenan was a tank driver and was drafted a day after the war started. I remember at night my tank broke and I thought I'm gonna miss the war. The war will end and we won't take a part of it. But when we got in closer and closer, we saw burnt tank and cadavers. And I thought that those are the Egypts. Apparently it was us, our soldiers that came out from the tanks burnt and dead. That night they picked us up around 11 p.m. and they told us we need to cross the creek from where we are all the way to the other side and pick up our people over there and bring them back. It was then when someone told us that there's 20% were coming back alive. This is when it started to be scary. Armand doesn't remember the photographer as well, or the people there, but the picture that was there is leading us to another story of a simple soldier in a big war. That's me, on the right. I was a simple soldier, a small one. Skinny, like today. At the National Library that receives many collections, they realized the potential of the pictures and added them to their collection. There's no heroes here. There's also no other side. But there's a point of view of a bystander that sees things that a professional eye cannot see anymore. After the war, everybody understood the big picture. Those who came back alive realized how bad the situation was, and Nathan came back to the US and commemorated those moments. The combat soldiers had no questions about what they were supposed to do on the field. You're protecting home. You don't play around. This is home. This is our country. I had a feeling that I'm protecting home, my parents, and everything. I won't run around, even if I die. Today, this collection can be found online. Nathan is excited that his picture got meanings after all of those years. And those young soldiers, today, 70 years old, are getting reminded of days that they might not want to remember, but they cannot forget.